Welcome all as we congregate to the greatest toy line in community, ever growing, ever changing. As we collect and adapt these figures to our own imaginations and embrace the fun, there's much to learn, especially if you're new to Mythics. Welcome everyone that's watching New to Mythics, episode 14, starring my friend William Wallace Harris, aka Dub Dub. How are you, my friend?
Pretty good.
Welcome. This is officially the latest I've ever taped an episode. It is 3:17 our time in the morning. We're both night owls.
Absolutely.
Well, you can't sleep, and I like to sleep, but I worked and I got home and you know what? Let's tape a show. So
yeah, when you get done with work, you're gonna never just like go to sleep right away.
I need to wind down a little.
You gotta wind down and
So I was like, you know what? Instead of waking up early and taping the show, let's just stay up and tape the show. We'll see how it goes.
Yep, that works.
Yeah. So I appreciate you being on. Thank you very much. We've been talking about it for a while. Yep. I've been kind of bugging you about it, and I appreciate you taking the time and especially today. Thank you very much.
Absolutely.
So New to Mythics, for people that just happen to never watch the show before, is kind of like this part is mostly testimony or how people got into the line. It's always interesting to hear people's stories about, what they collected as kids, what they're into, and then, how they became a fan of the Mythic line. So that's always interesting. And then I always like to hear how some people have creative outlets around that the toy line. I don't. I just tape shows and talk toys. But there's some people that have creative outlets concerning the toy line.
Group.
Yeah, there's a ton, and I love to see all that stuff. So let's start it. My dog's snoring. Let's start this. When you were a young man, what were some of the things that you collected?
Growing up, I was born in '78, so like '80s babies. Started out with like Motu. I don't know if you ever saw those little what were they? I forget. Wigglers, like they're little they're like rubber, like little alien guys. I can't remember the exact name.
I know there was the muscle guys.
Muscles I used to get. I have like a box I got to get out. I have some of those.
My friend Eric just sent me a few, and it brought me back. I haven't had those since I was before.
Yeah, I saw some at the Lehigh Valley Toy Show, but I was like, I'm being good at this. I end up spending all my money on Mythics anyway. So
right, yeah, that's all my money goes to Mythics. Yeah,
that's pretty much
and dog treats. Dog treats take a chunk out of my
weird. I used to collect weird little stuff, but Motu was a big thing when I grew up. I had the He-Man Skeletor, but we had talked before, Trapjaw was my favorite.
Trapjaw was my favorite. I traded for him.
The face and
yes, he had the articulated jaw.
And, and it's funny because when we were kids, we didn't really pay attention to the storyline or anything like that. We just thought they were cool looking figures.
Exactly. They didn't need a storyline. I was happy.
And here they are. The only reason they made them was to sell the toys.
Exactly.
That's the only reason behind the show was to sell the toys.
To catch our eye. And if you think about it, he had kind of a weird color, like green, what is that? Like a maroonish,
like a pinkish almost too.
Yeah, almost a pinkish and black.
Yeah.
It was kind of a weird color scheme, but for some reason I loved it. I just loved that big. In fact, I wish I had it. I don't have one.
I have the Origins one, and I had the Masterverse one.
I think I will pick up the Origins one.
The Origin one's nice. I stopped collecting. I was doing Origins for a long time, and I had all of it, and I got all the way up until the the new Eternia playset,
Mhm.
and I got it in the mail, and I'm like, it showed up at the door. I'm like, I have nowhere to put this thing.
Right. Yeah.
So
I
it's
was
like
just
it's all
talking
just
about
sitting
that.
in the,
Like,
like in storage right now, just like sitting there. I'm like, I'm just gonna stick with Mythics because
they're
it's
easy on
just
the
where I'm at.
shelf. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, it is what it is. But like growing up, like my brother was always into GI Joe.
Mhm.
That was his thing. Like I was like at the point where I was getting to the point where GI Joe, I was like preteen. Like I was kind of like, and I used to, and plus I used to get a little bit jealous because my parents spoiled my brother when it comes to
Really?
like the GI Joe stuff.
Much older is he than you?
Like the whole like the B-2 bomber, like that big bomber.
Oh yeah, that it was a brown. It was like
Yeah,
a
we used to fight
brownish.
over like GI Joe stuff. I'm like,
How much
there's,
older is he than you?
well, I'm only older than him by like 2 years.
Oh, okay, so he was the baby brother.
Yeah,
Okay,
and
and
I
he
mean
got he got all the goods.
we used to I mean we had like another big one I used to collect was the mask.
Yeah, I love that
Mask,
line.
and I didn't have much because like growing up we didn't have like a lot of money to like
Right.
our parents to
Yeah,
go buy
like
stuff like.
birthdays or Christmas or
Yeah,
special occasions.
birthdays, Christmas. You wouldn't just go to the store and go, oh, here.
Yeah, because back
Birthdays,
then I
Christmas. You get that's when you get something.
yeah, because I think Condor, which was a green motorcycle, I think back then it was like had to be like $12 or $14, something like
Yeah, but
that.
at that time, that was a lot of
At
money.
that time, yeah, it was a lot
Yeah.
of money. So I remember I got Condor and I got Stiletto.
What
I
was the
think
one
that's
that was? I can't remember the name because the one I had that I remember the most was the one with. Well, I had the truck.
the Rhino.
Yeah, and I had the one that had like the '57 Chevy with the blue one with the flames on it.
Yes, I never had that one, but I remember that. I remember that one.
I
I
had
never
that
had
one,
that
and that
one.
was like my favorite one.
Yeah, that
And
one
like,
was cool.
and it's funny because we were at the hospital today, and like with my son, and like I was flipping through like TikToks and stuff because I do it once in a while. Like I follow a lot of toy people on TikTok, so I'm
Mhm.
like, okay, and out of nowhere pops up like Snorks. I'm like, oh my god, I remember that show. Like, what the
Yeah,
hell?
I used to watch it and think to myself, why am I watching this for? I
Yeah.
have no interest in this. It was like the Smurfs to me. Like
Well,
they
like
were
the
cute and
Smurfs
adorable,
was the
but
same thing, but
like,
like we just
why am I
watched it.
watching this for?
It was like a Saturday morning cartoon thing. Like we always
Yeah,
watched Saturday morning. You
we would
sat
watch
down, we had
whatever.
cereal, and you watched
Snoop,
cartoons.
what was his name? Kissy Fur or Foofer?
Yeah, I can't even
I'd
remember
be
the
like,
one.
why am I watching this for? I have no
Like there
interest
was
in this
that
stuff, but
and
I would. It was animated,
Smurfs.
so I'm
It was
watching
like
it.
Smurfs, Snorks,
Mhm.
and my mom for some reason used to love watching the Gummy Bears.
The gummy bears. What about the littles? You remember the littles?
Yeah, the littles.
Yeah,
There's a bunch. Oh my god, there's Captain
yeah,
Caveman, like
yeah,
all the
yeah. But there was
old
for some reason,
OG
if it was
cartoons.
animated, I would watch it. I don't know why.
Yeah,
And then
it
it'd
was
be
just,
like 11 a.m. and I'm like, I gotta go do some chores or
and I
go
remember you being
outside.
like, it
And
was like what second, third grade, fourth grade, coming home from school and just like
yeah.
Thundercats, yay!
Oh,
Like,
that was my favorite. That was
I
my
used to
jam.
love the Thundercats.
Yeah, that was my favorite. And
Yeah, I mean
Silverhawks.
that's one I really remember watching like kind of religiously.
Yeah,
But you
that
never
was
caught
my
them like
favorite.
if you didn't catch them on, like you'd have to catch a rerun like sporadically, and they were never in order. Like they would just play random like.
Right, right. Yeah,
Like what
yeah.
the
You
hell
were screwed.
happened? I tried getting my
You're
kid
like,
to
wait.
watch it a couple of years ago, where we would
Yeah.
sit down and like watch from the beginning, but he just couldn't get into it. So I'm like, whatever.
Sometimes, yeah, sometimes kids they don't get it. Like but back then it was like, I mean, the animation, and even now the animation is still pretty damn good.
Oh yeah,
But back then I remember when they were like teasing it, like, new cartoon premiering today or next week at 4, the Thundercats, and I was just like, what?
I remember
We were
watching like
talking about it
GI
at
Joe was another
school.
one. We watched the cartoon GI Joe. And
Yeah.
that would be one. Transformers, of course. I just saw recently they're redoing like GoBot figures.
Hmm.
I can never get into the GoBots. I was like, man, these are just what the hell is this? Like,
They were kind of cheap and small to me, I thought.
yeah, like
The
it's kind
ones
of
that
like,
I had a couple and they were just they were okay. But
yeah.
Transformers were like but they're very expensive. I remember as a kid going to the toy store
The
and
only
looking at them,
one
and they're
like
like 24, $27.
the only
That's a
one I
lot of
really
money.
remember having that I loved was Soundwave.
Soundwave was awesome.
Because I bought one a couple of years back where I was like, because it looked like the original. I was like, oh,
Yeah,
that's freaking cool. I have to have it. That's like
that's a
the
lot
only
of people's
Transformer I
faves.
currently have.
That was my favorite. Yeah, I had to trade. I traded my friend Scott. I traded Soundwave and I traded Optimus because that was the only way I was going to get them. So I would
Yeah,
trade, if I got a GI Joe or two. I think I traded Flint or something, a couple of GI Joes for Soundwave and Optimus, and I was just blown away by
yeah,
like how complex but just super cool these figures were and functional. You know, like putting the cassettes in and out of Soundwave
yeah.
or the rolling wheels
And
on.
then back then we didn't pay attention to like instructions. We just messed with it until we got it to look
Yeah,
the way
you
we
just
wanted.
play with it
Like,
until it. Yeah,
what is
but
this?
some of them were complex. It's like
Yeah, like then as an adult, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Like,
right, yeah. Because I remember
kind
Megatron.
of
I
forget
remember
how to do it.
Megatron was very difficult. My friend had Megatron, and like he had a hard time transforming it from the gun to the robot. Like it
Yeah.
was very complex to do.
What was
Um,
what kills me is seeing the new ones where they have like the automated ones.
mhm.
They did the Optimus Prime one where like you say transform and it's like
It's like,
like Kevin Smith. They did the movie
yeah.
with Kevin that showed a little ad with Kevin Smith. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh my
Those are
god, this thing is
expensive though, aren't they?
ridiculous.
Aren't those very expensive? The transforming ones.
Oh yeah, it's like I think it's like $400 or
Yeah,
something like that. I don't remember exactly, but it's up. It's up there.
yeah,
I was like, holy
yeah,
crap, that's crazy.
yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
But the amount of like the way how far toys have come is just like
Yeah, I always talk about that. Like, I was happy with the 5 points of articulation with the Fisher Price, with the Star Wars. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like, it didn't occur to me to want, swivels and multiple
And I think
points of
that's kind of what
articulation.
drew me more to Mythics is because like I see Mythic Legions as like my Legos.
Hmm.
Like growing up, I was big into Legos because like my mom would just come home with a box of Legos and just be like, I would just build
Yeah, that
houses,
was fun.
whatever,
Yeah.
cars, just random
Yeah,
stuff.
because I think for older people, the Legos didn't really have a theme at the time. It was just
Yeah,
like I
I mean they
remember
had
we
stuff.
had
They had like a castle with like for
right.
kids, but like there was nothing for adults like they do now,
Yeah,
where you have like the big baby Yoda and like the helmets and
right. It's kind of like this is what
Harry
you're
Potter
supposed to build it
sets.
into. But we had me and my sister had a hand-me-down set that was my uncle's, who was a little bit older than us, and he gave it to us. But it was basically like a big box with
Yeah,
like 100 Lego blocks in it and windows,
just
different square
windows, doors, and like
doors,
yeah,
the yard, you know what I
it
mean?
was
So you
so
make houses,
basic.
you make
Yeah,
buildings, you know, it was all kind of geometrical building. And that was fun to just build your own, you know, square, build your own house. But
it
yeah,
frees
and
up.
then you could start making cars and stuff after that. So that was super
Yeah,
cool. But I'm with you, William, in that I love things that kind of invoke your imagination.
yeah. Like
Or
imagination's always been a big thing to me. Like growing up, like I think when I was like I think it was in fourth grade, my dad bought me a telescope because he loved astronomy. So he would
Mhm,
like take us out. We had this Pentax telescope. And it had
mhm.
a case and everything, and like we'd
Yeah,
go
I had
out.
one. Was yours red or was it a different color?
No, it was like silver.
Oh, nice.
And we were in astronomy, and he's like, you know what's really cool? He's like, you can buy in a camera and you can attach it to the telescope.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, cool. So he went and bought me this. I remember I think it was like $100 and some. I was in fourth grade. My dad went and bought me like this camera. It was the Pentax K1000,
Hmm.
old film camera. I'm like, eventually, like I went and I
That's pretty
focused
damn
on the
cool.
camera. The telescope went whoop, and I just started taking pictures of like everything I saw. That's what
So
got me like
you're
kind of into like the photography thing.
So you were into photography at a young
Oh,
age.
very young, yeah. Like when I'm talking like fourth grade with a Pentax K1000. I mean, back then it was like 120 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
So back in the 80s, 120 bucks for a camera. Like now you look at it like that's nothing. But
So was your dad into photography himself?
no, like that's the thing. My dad was never like into like anything creative at all.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's more my mom's side is like all the creative side because like I have my aunts that are always artists, like painters and designers, and just do different stuff. That's
So
where I got the artistic side from my mom's side.
so your dad bought you the camera
Yeah.
because he felt like you had interest in photography?
Well, he thought that like we were gonna like combine it and like put the telescope and like take pictures like the stars and moon and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. And I'm like, I kind of veered away from it, and I just went and like started taking pictures of people and like
Mm-hmm.
sporting events and just having fun with it. And then like I kind of like went away from it for a bit, because when you get into high school, teenager, you're like, oh, girls and
Yes, you're definitely
hanging out with
distracted.
friends and whatever. So
I
like,
think that's when creativity kind of takes a hit, when
yeah, I
you're
mean,
kind of in those years of, you know,
at
becoming who
that
you
point,
are.
because I kind of transferred back and forth because I used to do like a lot of
Yeah, me too.
drawing, and like used to do painting with acrylic paints and stuff like that. Like just I would do still life stuff like floral
Mhm.
stuff or whatever. And then like I got into high school, and then I went back and took photography class again in high school, and we were still doing film. Going to the dark room and having fun in the dark room. And it's funny because when we got to the photography class, they handed out the cameras, and the camera was the Pentax K1000 my dad got. I'm like, that's so crazy that like
Wow.
that's what we used in the photography class was the
Hmm.
camera that my dad bought me like years and years ago.
Hmm.
Then
So you're
after
like,
high
yeah, I know how to
school,
use this, no problem.
I joined them. I joined the army. I was in the army for like 10 years, and then after I got out, I did photography here and there, and I signed up for an internship at this local theater to do photography because it was like do concert photography. I'm like, oh, this is like really cool. I love music, love photography.
Mhm.
Let's just kind of put them together.
Right.
So that was back in like 2014. I started doing that, and while I was working there, I ran into this guy. His name is Bill McKay, and he would work security there. And around 2016, I remember he saw that I posted some pictures. My son used to buy these. He used to love these little. I don't know if you ever seen them, the little Minecraft figures.
Yes. Yeah,
They
my
come in like
stepson.
the blind boxes, and you'd open them up and
Yes,
be like, "Oh, look
yes.
what I got!"
My stepson loves Minecraft.
He used to love it. I'm like, so I get him that, and he's like, one day he came up to me, he's like, I got some toys your son might like. So he brought a couple Glios figures in, handed them to me. I took them to my son. He like loved it, and next thing you know, I'm like, I'm buying Glios. I'm like, okay.
Can you
I,
tell people that don't know what Glios is? Could you
well,
give a
see, I
little
don't know a
description?
whole because I wasn't one of the old heads that used to collect a bunch. Because I mean, it goes pretty far back. But like Matt O'Neill is like the
Hmm.
godfather of like Glios, and Glios is like pretty much like they're not very big, like 3.5 inch scale,
Hmm.
but it's great because it was kind of along the lines of like you could take parts and like mix them together, and
Little pop and swap.
you can do pop and swap stuff and make different
They're
things. And
modular. You can take them
yeah,
apart or build
I mean,
something bigger.
there's so many pieces in a package. It's not even funny. And it was like 20 bucks for 25 bucks for a figure, but there's like all these parts and you can build and like do different stuff. I'm like, this is
Hmm.
rad. And then like I kind of like started doing that, and then then I saw designer stuff. Like you ever see like the vinyl like Sofubi?
Yes.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, that stuff is cool. It's expensive, but it's very cool.
And that's where I kind of went down this rabbit hole, and I gotta get sucked in, and especially this one guy. It's called Mad Monk, and he had this Mad Moon figure, and they're like,
That sounds familiar.
it's like $300 a figure. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got in trouble, and I went down and I started just buying them. I'm like, And I put myself in debt. I'm like, oh, this is ridiculous. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, this is a bad rabbit hole to be in right
Yeah,
now.
it was really bad. I was like, and I kind of started like going along the lines of like going back down the rabbit hole of going like all the old stuff, the nostalgia that comes up when you look at like GI Joe when that came out. I was like, oh, damn, this is really cool,
Mm-hmm.
and it's at a bigger scale. So I'm like, that's even cooler.
Was that classified or was that
The
something
GI Joe
else?
Classified, where it came
Yeah,
up, or like they started doing a classified line where it was 112 scale. I'm
very
like,
detailed, very
and
a
like
lot of accessories and stuff. Because
composability and like,
as a kid, they didn't come with a lot of maybe a backpack, maybe a rifle,
yeah, I mean
maybe a
they were
pistol or
small,
something.
the three
Yeah,
quarter inch figures. I'm like, they're little, the 1/18 scale. I didn't see the point in that scale. So I was like, the GI Joe classifieds were great, and then I kind of went Mezco, but
right.
Mezco I
Yeah,
only
I had
got
a
like
Mezco
certain
time.
figures because Mezco's like, I kind of dig their Rumble Society stuff, like their off brand, like
Hmm.
um the ant. What the heck is his name?
Gomez.
Gomez. Yeah, Gomez is great.
Yeah.
And then they came out with Vapor. That was the one that got me like sucked in because it's just such a great figure with all this character to the faces and sort of stuff.
Hmm.
I think it was back in when was Mythic started? Like that was back in.
20 what 17?
I only
I'm not
had
thinking.
one figure early on, and that was the original Eagleus.
Really?
I got that early because I like, being military. I was like,
Yeah.
patriotic. I was like, Eagleus was like, oh damn, that's really cool. So like, I had to have him. Like I got him. And I
Yeah.
was like, I played with him, but like I didn't really have much interest in it at the time. And then a
Did
couple of
you
years ago,
did you open it when you got it?
oh yeah, like
Yeah.
instantly it was like,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
right into like, what can I do with this thing? And then it was like, I kind of like hung back. I did, and looking back now, I'm like, damn, I really wish I would have stayed and like
A lot of us
got in
say
from the
that. Yeah.
Kickstarter because
Yeah.
I mean, like I'm missing. But now at the point, it's kind of like good too because like I don't feel like I need to track down every figure.
Right.
Like I don't need to be a completionist
See,
when it comes to
that's what
that.
I was gonna say. Yeah. It's the completionist that
Because when you get in
man.
that mindset, that'll drive you bonkers sometimes.
Yes.
And
Yeah,
it's like,
it's an obsession that will consume you until you're,
yeah, like
broke or, your wife left you, you know,
well, it's funny because she
your
gets
car
mad
got
at me.
repossessed.
It's funny because like I'll buy like, I posted a picture in the cabal like not long ago, or like I was cleaning out my one cabinet, and it's all my orcs, goblins, ogres,
Yes, I saw
and
that picture.
she's always like, "Why do you have four of one figure?" I'm like, "Because I buy figureheads from other people and I pop it on because it looks cool, and I want to have them all like a big army together." And she's like,
Hmm.
"I don't understand you." I'm like, "It's okay. I don't
Yeah,
expect
it's
you
it's it's our brain.
to."
That's I was talking to Alexander Deshaw, and he said it's all he said collector code, where we
Yeah,
have these little mental rules that we make up for ourselves, you
yeah.
know, that
Well, we try to keep, but we usually never do.
yeah, right, yeah, yeah. It's like, okay, I'm just gonna collect the females. This line is very expensive. If you go backwards, it's gonna
If you
cost
go
a lot.
backwards, it is.
So
But like, if
I'm
you get
like,
in
I'm
on
just gonna
pre-order,
collect
it's really not that
females.
bad.
No, 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 it's reasonable because you get a lot. You get a lot for your price.
Back
But what I
in, I
was
think it
saying,
was back in
my
2022 is when I started getting into Mythic. I bought a couple of skeletons from Big Bad Toy Store.
mhm.
I was like, okay, this is pretty cool. I like these. And I was playing with them for a while, and then I knew Mythic Legions, the Legions con was coming up. I'm like, damn. And the tickets were like virtually sold out. So I
Mhm.
was like, damn. I was like, I messaged, I think it was messaged Eric, and I was like, what do I need to do? And he's like, well, get a
Eric
hold of
who?
Jeremy,
Which Eric? The Eric?
Cornboy,
Oh, Eric
Cornboy.
Cornwell. Yeah.
So I messaged Cornboy. He's like, talk to Jeremy. So like, blah, 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 talk to Jeremy. He's
Yeah,
like,
you went
okay.
straight to the top. You
Yeah,
went.
he's like,
You went.
so he's like, then go to the Cabal. Jeremy was like, go to the Cabal and see if anybody can help you out. Because
Mhm.
I wasn't even part of the Cabal at the time. I was like, okay, cool. So I'll go to the cabal. And out of the kindness of his heart, it was, and see, like, I try to remember everybody that's like helped me out, because like it's so appreciated when people help you out. And that's what I'm going from all these other groups into like Facebook, there's tons of toy groups. And there's usually toxicity and the negativity and like I don't like it. I don't want to be around
there's
it.
a lot of different personalities, and sometimes they conflict.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, so I started, and I went in Legion's Con. I'm like, okay, I went to the cabal. I got into the cabal, and Dennis Derby was like, I can help you out, because he wasn't going to be there right away. And then it was Colin who actually gave me the ticket so I can get in. And then they actually opened up ticket sales. So I was like, okay, cool. They opened up more tickets. So I was like, okay, cool. I'll get my son a ticket so we can go together. And I remember
going to this? 22?
2022, yeah.
22, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and I was like, okay, that was at the old, what was that, the other place? What hotel was that? I can't remember. It was farther down, but I can't remember. But we show up and we're like, oh, cool. We walk in and all you see is the big statue. We're like, oh, that's freaking cool as shit. Herzog, and we're like, oh man, it's awesome. And then we're like, we get in line and we're like, but we didn't realize like how early people were
Yeah, I just found that out too. I didn't realize
there.
that people
were
wait
there
in line
super early.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
And I had no idea. We came in and we were still okay, but like we didn't realize how far the line was already going in. But we ended up waiting like 4 hours in line.
I didn't realize.
We ended up waiting like 4 hours in line. And we're like, holy crap, this is crazy. Like, because at that time the line wasn't set up like for like a big crowd or whatever. But we got it. And I remember getting to the front of the line where they had like the exclusives were like farther down, but they allowed you to see all the other stuff first. And that's when I saw the Forest Troll, and I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, that thing is gorgeous. I'm like, you know what? Give me it. I remember getting that. And
was there a lot of stuff that you didn't know about that they had?
Yeah, like, I saw some on, Big Bad Toy Store or whatever, but there's other stuff I didn't see. And I'm like, holy crap. And I remember getting the exclusive, and I went and bought like the max exclusive I can get. Like, I figured I'm new to the line. I said, there's other people in the group that like aren't going to be able to make it. So like, maybe I'll just use it for trades. I worked out some trades with people, got some good stuff that I ended up trading trading the unknown one for a stone troll. I was like, holy crap. Because
that unknown one figure is a perfect figure to me. I've said it before.
And that's like, I started with that was like my big jump was that Legion's Con 2022.
Yeah.
And that's where I kind of like got in. I'm like, oh man, this is going to hurt. And then especially because like we walked around, started seeing all the custom stuff. And that's where like, my mind was like, holy crap. Like,
that's where the big money is too.
There's so many good artists. Like I remember seeing Nikki Nicole there. And I saw her stuff. I'm like, holy crap, this is amazing. Like, look at these heads.
Yeah. Eric Miller, Noah Pratt. You got
Sean Strupp was at that one with the soft goods, and I'm like, these are freaking amazing. Like, and I still didn't even like take in everybody there. I didn't even.
It's a sensory overload.
Yeah, like I didn't even feel like I took it all in, because like I was like, just like, holy crap! I didn't even remember half the stuff I saw, because it was just like, holy, there's just so much everywhere, and you're just bombarded with like this awesome stuff. Like,
100%.
It was just insane. And I remember getting back from Legion's Con, I was like, oh man, that was so cool. And then like me and my son were like, yeah, we're gonna definitely go again next year. And I'm like, it's great because it's not too far to drive. It's like, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Like, I wish.
Perfect. Like
12.
Yeah, I mean, that's great. I mean, that's like this weekend there's the Heroes Con. I'm like, I wish I could go, but like it's like I can't drive that far.
It's a ways. Yeah, it's a ways.
Especially
in
I would IshCon's coming up, and I was like, I would love to go to IshCon, but I'm like,
yeah.
And it was great because like when I really got it, even this past year has been a big jump for me for Legions, because when I first got in, I was like, I'm going to stick with my Green Army. I'm going to do goblins. I was like, I stuck with orcs, and then I'm like, okay, ogres came in, and I'm like, but then I started getting into some of the other figures. I'm like, oh, here we go.
That's how it works. It's, for some reason you're like, oh, that's cool. I'll pick up one of those, and then before you know it, then you're doing all of, you know. That was me. It's like I thought, you
You
know what,
get
that
sucked
those
in, and
Templars are cool.
something grabs your attention. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the ADHD brain. You're like, boom.
Yeah,
Oh,
and
well,
then
oh,
you
wow, look
hyper
at that.
focus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like that's
yeah.
fantastic. And then it was like, I was like, okay, we're going to do Legions Con this year. So we went to Legions Con, and last year I was getting out of Joe's. I was like, this is getting to be too much. I can't really do it. So I was like, I'm going to focus more on Legions and stick with this, because this is where, like, between the community sucking me in and like the creativity it lets me like do little stories with photos where you put people together and like have little battles, and it's fun to set stuff up like that. And I was like, okay, I'm going to focus more on Legions. And then I was selling the HasLab, the His Tank.
Yeah.
I used that money. I was like, I'm going to surprise my son this year at Legions Con. My son loves the Flash, like obsessed with like the TV series that like on the CW. I'm like,
that's
okay,
a great
cool.
show. Yeah, I love that show.
He loves it. So I was like, I hit Emil Wickman up. I'm like, can you do this for me? And like we talked to a couple, like going back and forth. I sent him some pictures of like how I would like it to look, and
So he
all
made
this.
it for you. I thought
Yeah.
he just made it and then you
No,
guys
like
bought it.
no,
Wow.
like I'm like, I want this to do
I
this.
didn't know that. Yeah, I didn't know
Like
that.
we went back and forth talking and setting, sending pictures back and forth. And I'm like, I want to surprise my son. I'm like, you don't have to worry about getting it done like anytime soon. I'm like, you got all the way to Legions Con. I said, because I want to surprise him at Legions Con, because like the first time we went to Legions Con, he was like, oh wow, Dad, look at that, look at that, look at that. And then like Legions Con 2023, we show up and I'm like, I can only do one day. So I picked Sunday to do it. So I was like, we'll do Sunday. And we show up and like we're walking down, we get through the exclusive line, and like, all right, like, hey Noah, look at that. Like, that's pretty cool. What's that over there? He's like, whoa, look at that. Look at that Flash figure. I'm like, you like that, buddy? He's like, yeah, that's pretty freaking cool. I'm like, guess what? I'm like, it's yours. And he's like, you can see like the tears start coming in his eye. I'm like, yes, nailed it. Like, and it's just like one of those things like I'm never gonna forget.
Yeah.
Like it
That's
was
awesome.
great. But I remember going around the
Can
rest
you
of the
show
whole Legions Con last year. I'm like mind blown, because I spent money at Anthony Halcyon made me an orc custom. I was like, I want that orc custom. So I got that from him, and then I started seeing heads from everybody, and like between Len with Wolf King Customs, I buy like this. I don't get to paint as much as I'd like to. I get frustrated because I don't be able to do things I see other people doing.
Yeah.
But some of the stuff is like pretty crazy. So that's why I usually try to just buy pre-painted stuff. But
Yeah.
sometimes I like to give myself a try and like see how it goes.
Yeah. Can you
But
show that Flash? Do you have the Flash there?
oh yeah, this thing
So
is
that
just so amazing.
for
I got to
people
take more
that
pictures. I keep meaning to take more pictures of him because he's just so freaking amazing.
So people that are new, that don't know, Emil is this amazing customizer from Sweden, and just the nicest damn dude, but just super talented within the community. He makes anything.
And talking about
into
creativity,
from Mythics. Yes.
he used the ties from the packaging to do.
Oh shit! Whoa!
The little lightning bolts and stuff around his legs
Wow!
and stuff.
Did he paint them?
Yeah, they're like painted. They almost look dyed.
That's insane. I would have never thought of that in a million years.
I'm like, when he showed me that, I'm like, that's so freaking rad that you could like, because you can take him and bend him around and like.
That's genius. Dude is genius.
He's so brilliant when it comes to doing this stuff. Like we said before, we were talking about the Osaka one. Like he did for Len. I'm like,
Yeah, insane.
you're like a genius, dude. Like,
Yeah, where'd you come up with that?
there's so many just creative people in the community that it
Yeah, I
blows my
love
mind.
that. I love that this toy line, which is amazing unto itself,
Yeah, it just
that
brings out
people
like
the creativity.
the
Yeah,
creativity, like just some of the stuff I see people doing is like, wow, like
amazing.
holy crap, like
Blows me away.
even the sculpting, like I got this one from Wolf King, like yeah, I think this was the one from Wolf King, wasn't it that one?
Yeah. Is that
And
the
then I got
yeah.
what was the other one? Noble Bear, Anthony, the little
Wow. That's amazing.
like so, and the sculptors. Like I can't even remember all the people who did all the sculpting on these things,
Hmm.
but my mind gets so like cluttered with all the information. I'm like, who did what? Like,
Right.
there's so many just people that have like helped out. The big thing for me was like after I got done with Midget Legions, the Legions Con in 2023, I was like, cool. What's next? Like, what's
Hmm.
the next show I'm going to be able to go to? And then ZoloCon came up in December. You're
So
talking,
I wanted to tell you. So that was how I had heard about you. Like I had seen you or seen your name in the Cabal, and I think Purple Gang Gang hadn't really been invented or thought of at that point.
I think it was just around that same time. ZoloCon was like around the same time that like Purple Gang Gang was like coming together. I think
Yeah, and
because
you were offering to buy or to pick up the Skull Warrior.
yes, because what happened was it was great because Michael Zolatro was like running the deal where like you could pre-order
Hmm.
the figure before you even get to the show, which I thought was just genius because the people that like can go and like buy it ahead of time. So what I would do is like I would take someone's name. I have it like I have it in a bunch of. I had a whole list of people like on my phone. I'm
Hmm.
like, okay, this person. I think Matt Stein was one of the first people that like asked me. I'm like, yeah, no problem, dude. So
Yeah,
I'm not asking for anything but what the cost of the figure is.
right.
Cost of the figure, shipping. Boom. We'll settle shipping after the fact when I ship them out.
Hmm.
So like he wanted one. Actually, he wanted two. So I got him two. Did the pre-order. Put the list down, and then just people started asking me. I'm like, cool. I'm like, just send me
Hmm.
the money, PayPal. I would take a screenshot of the ticket and be like, there you go.
Hmm.
I bought your figure. And then
Hmm.
when we got to ZoloCon, I was like, oh, it was crazy because I was like, I was super worried that like it was going to be a pain in the ass and I was going to hold everybody up in line. I'm like, oh, people are going to be so mad at me when I show up with this
Yeah.
big long list. But Michael Zolotro ran it so good
Hmm.
that like I walked up to the desk, gave him my name, and he had all the orders. One, two, he counted the orders, one, two, three, and I had exactly a case plus two.
Hmm.
So he goes,
Yeah.
he's like, here's your whole case plus two. But it was funny because I hit the Mythic Legions table before I even went over there. That's where I
Yeah.
got the Aether 2-pack because I
Hmm.
was like, I saw that. I'm like, oh my God, I have to have it because,
Yeah. I was lucky. I got one too.
yeah, I
But
was like, I was really happy about that. And I was like, I had a list of stuff to get for people. And like, someone wanted some of the demons from the Biblical Adventures. So I went and hit
hmm
Chris up, be like, I need these figures. And then that's where I kind of ran in. I didn't know a lot of people then. There's a
hmm
couple of people I met there, which just started talking more because like I've always been like kind of like secluded. Like I never really, put myself out there. I'm not really kind of like that socially awkward, like, well, I don't
Right.
know. Like, so I'm like, okay. And I met a couple people there, and like I remember trying to get all the figures to my car to put them
Hmm.
away. And I had like two boxes. I had a whole box from Mythic Legions from the table, like a whole case. I'm like, oh, this is gonna suck. And I had this like box set up where I had like wheels on it. And I remember I get around the corner of Zolocon, and I'm like, the one box on top fell over, and all the figures went all over the floor.
Oh no.
I'm like, oh no, I need a new box.
Yeah.
But then
It
I
was
got
funny.
home, and I remember because I only went that Friday night because I couldn't
Yeah.
go the rest of the weekend.
Yeah. I was there Friday. I went Friday with Brett and Sven and Raul and Ed. Ed's nice and Tony
Yeah,
Toybox.
I remember
And
seeing Ed there, like, because
we
I
got
talked to
there
him
at
a little
like
bit.
4:30 in the morning. And I think I got the Skullman first. And I think I had only bought like 10 for friends that had reached out to me. And like you said, it was so easy
Yeah,
to
because the way
do.
the
He had
pre-order
them.
was just, I wish everyone would be that easy, but
Yeah.
it can't be. But
Yeah.
it was
But I
nice.
think, yeah, it was cool. But I just wanted to say thank you for buying all those for people. And I think somebody thanked you like on the show or something. I think it was Jeremy or somebody had thanked you on one of the shows.
Yeah, because
Um,
I didn't really watch too much of like the YouTube channel as much as I did that point,
yeah.
like the earlier in that point, because I really
And
didn't know too much about him. Like, but
I didn't know that they're like, oh yeah, that's William Wallace. I'm like, oh, that was what I didn't even know that was. I because I had seen your name, but I didn't know what you looked like.
and it's
And
funny because
so
like I know how it feels to be like, you see exclusives pop up and you're like, shit, I can't
yeah,
make it to California to get that thing.
right.
So I'm like, yeah, let me try to help somebody out because like I know what it's like to miss out on stuff like that, and you're
Mhm.
like, make it easier for people.
Yeah.
And
So
most people are like, well, most
if
people
there's
are like,
anyone
oh,
going to San Diego, I want that Flash figure. If anyone can pick me up that Flash figure from NECA, Flash Gordon, San Diego Comic-Con, please, I need that.
oh, is
But
that this?
that kind of made you a little bit more well known, was that you did that, and people kind of celebrated you in the Cabal.
Well, I remember
Um,
Jeremy messaged me because I think I messaged Jeremy about something. I was like, he's like, you're taking payments first, right? I'm
mhm.
like, yes, absolutely. I was like, because I'm not going to get stuck with a bunch of figures, paying for
Right.
figures,
I
and then
love that figure too, by the way. Did you
and
get
then
some for
people like
yourself?
fall out and then don't want it.
Mhm.
So I was like,
Like, oh, sorry, bro, I don't have the money for it. Sorry about that.
and actually, it's funny
No,
because
I
I
need the
I
money.
had bought two for myself because I was going to keep one boxed and I was going to open
Mhm.
one, and I immediately opened one. It's funny because when I got back from the show, I immediately started like because what I did was I kind of went crazy. I went and ordered stuff. I ordered like the thermal printer to print
Mhm.
out shipping labels. I ordered like a whole case of boxes, tape, whatever, all I needed to do the shipping. Bubble wrap, a whole big roll of bubble wrap. I
Mhm.
kind of went like, I'm
You
gonna
got an
do this.
operation going.
Yeah, like I'm gonna do this the right way. Like
Yeah.
I remember I had a whole. I put a picture of, and I had all the boxes like, but I had it all shipped out by that Monday.
Yeah,
I
I
was like,
remember. Yeah, I was kind of following
I was
how
determined to
you
be
did
like,
it.
I'm gonna get this done in like super time. And then people were like, I remember people are still trying to get the Skull Man,
Mhm.
and I think he might actually even. I'm not even sure, but he still might be up on ZollaCon's website
Yeah, it's possible. It's
because
possible,
I
but
think
yeah.
but he was for sale for like $85 then.
Mhm.
Instead of like the normal was like it was like if you buy the first ticket and then it was like 35 after that for
Mhm.
each additional figure or whatever, 40
Yeah.
whatever.
I love
Or
that
I think it was
figure.
$50. Yeah, it was
I
$50.
think I have 3 now, and I still if I find one, I'll buy it cuz I love that figure. I think it's
And
so
it's funny
cool.
because I ended up trading my extra one. I forget. God, I can't remember the name. Ryan, I think it was Ryan. I traded Alithia
Good
for
trade.
Skull. I was like, because I forget who it was, but someone got me sucked into the fucking vampires, and I'm like, oh,
Mhm. Yeah,
I
that'll
did
do
not
it.
want to go down this route. And then I'm like trying to get all the vampires, and then I'm I'm still missing one vampire. I'm missing the original
Vampire
female
Knight,
light. Yeah,
the
that's the one
Vampire
I'm
Knight.
missing.
I
Yeah,
had a couple, and I think I traded one to somebody, and
I mean, I don't have the
I
original
wish I
Vorgus
still had
either.
it.
I don't have the
You know how
original Vorgus.
Boreas? Boreas is a horse.
No, not
You
Vorgus.
you talking about Volgar?
No.
Um,
Well, what the hell am I thinking? Why am I having a brain fart?
what does he look like?
The Legion's caught one from last year.
Oh, Vorgus.
That's what I said.
Oh, I thought you said Boreas.
No, Vorgus.
Oh, sorry. I'm sorry, everybody.
Like you got
I
me
got bad
confused. Like,
hearing.
wait a minute, I thought it was Vorgus.
Yeah, I thought you said Boreas. I'm like, Boreas is a horse. What are you
No, I
talking
don't have
about?
the original Vorgus.
Oh, yeah, I don't either. They're
I
both
have
beautiful though.
I had bought this one they put up not the exclusive one,
Mm-hmm.
the one they put up later, the single figure by itself.
The
But then it's
retail.
funny because Jeremy just put the exclusive up on Legion shop, and I'm like, damn it, you know what? I'm just gonna get it. Whatever. I
Did you?
went and bought that and a skeleton. I'm like,
Yeah. Good for
whatever.
you.
We'll get this working
Good
one way or another.
prices.
But
Good
like,
prices. That.
I got pretty much all the vampires except the female knight, I think, and the original Vorgus. But like, I'm not really worried about it being I have like the reissue or whatever, so it's cool. I
Mm-hmm.
can deal with that as long
And
as
I
I
was,
have like that one. I don't really
yeah.
care.
And I think if you're patient, sometimes things will just happen. You know, if
There's sometimes like I've gotten lucky on eBay a couple times where like you happen to look and you're like, holy crap! Like I got like Vorthog and like 2 orcs, so it was 3 altogether for like $120.
yeah,
Like
sometimes you get lucky. Yeah, like
cha-ching.
I had bid on a Gadriel, and I think she started at like $50, and I think it was up to like $80, and I'm like, I think I was going to the movies or going out or something, so I'm like, oh, I'll throw in for $85,
Yeah.
and I won. I was like, what the heck? So I got
Every
Gadriel
once in
for
a while
$85.
you'd be like, damn, I got really lucky on that one.
Mm-hmm.
And then it
I
was
mean, I didn't expect to win it, so I mean, I didn't really have the money for it. I mean, I scraped it up, but I just honestly did not think that I was even going to win, and I
there was
did.
another.
So,
I'm really glad because the community's been really. Cloud's another one. Cloud Foxwell.
mm-hmm.
She's fantastic.
Yeah,
I
she's
don't know.
awesome.
I mean, out of nowhere, like I commented on one of her posts she had on Facebook that she had what was it Morgulith,
Mm-hmm.
and she's like, she had this one, and she was looking for another one or whatever. I'm like, at some point, I really want to get that figure. So what she do? She sent me it. I was
Wow.
like, that you like. I was like speechless. I'm like, that's a killer figure, and you're just sending me it to me like. And me, I don't care. It can be loose. I don't
Yeah,
even
I'm
care.
the same way. Whatever. I don't
I
care.
open it all anyway because like I
Yeah.
like taking pictures of them and like having fun and like putting stuff together, scenes together, and like
Yeah.
trying to have fun with it. So I was like, it's just a really cool figure. I'm like, I really wanted it. I'm like, she's like, here you go. I'm like, but then
Shout
we
out
were
to
watching.
Cloud Foxwell.
I was watching Dork Lair like not long ago, and he had Jesse Nastasio. He did. He's another one of the Glyos makers. He does Knights of the Slice.
Mm-hmm.
They're 3 3/4 inch Glyos, and he's done like a crazy amount of stuff with them. Like they've progressed so far on that one. But I used to have like a bunch of those because I was into the Glyos, and I found one that's like a female figure. I'm like, Cloud. I'm like, you like this one? I'm like, she's like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm like, well, it's yours. I still got to send it out because I got to get her address, but I'm gonna, I'm like, she's like, how much? I'm like, you sent me something. I'm gonna
Yeah.
just return the favor here.
That's what it's all about, dude. And that's why I love the Cabal. The people that don't get it won't get it, I guess.
There's some
But
new
like,
people that don't really know, they understand like the way, but not everybody's going to see everything the same way. I
yeah.
mean, we have people that like one of the, I mean, and I've been guilty of it too, like where I bitch and complain. I'm like, I made a post recently because I was mad at like, I had my eye on this. What the heck was it? Oh, someone on eBay had Unkan for like a somewhat cheap price, and I kept bidding on it. I'm like, I kept bidding and bidding and bidding. I'm like, okay,
Yeah, I saw that listing.
And I was like, damn. I was sitting there the last minute. I'm like, I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm watching it. I'm like, I'm winning. I'm winning. I'm winning. And the last minute, when someone went boop, I'm like, so I typed in $340. I'm like, shit, I got beat.
Yeah, I think it was like 389 or something. It went
no,
up
it ended
to.
up going for like 360.
Yeah.
I was like, son of a bitch, I was so close.
Yeah, I really want Uncan. In fact, me and
He's the
Terrence,
last one I need to finish the orcs.
me and Terrence are building our own.
I'm
You
like,
got to build your own, man.
I saw Terrence was doing his. Did you see his? I saw
Yeah,
he just posted his on the Cabal. I'm like, dude, that looks really cool.
yeah,
We were
yeah.
talking
I'm
about
gonna
painting.
work on mine this weekend.
I was like, I'm not so good at painting. Like, I got Parkinson's, so like, this hand here, my left hand, it gets really shaky, so I can't really like hold figures the way. Even doing pop and swaps is kind of hard because like this arm is weak, so like I can't really like just pop everything out so easy.
Well,
And I like
sometimes
doing
they're
the painting.
rough. They can be pokey and rough on your hands. Like I was taking apart an orc,
Yeah,
and the armor was like, was rough on my fingers trying to take the parts apart.
some of the ones that had like the spiky little like
Yes,
points. I'm like,
yes,
oh, I'm like, this is such a pain in the
yes,
ass.
yes,
But like,
yes.
I mean, I did some of the paint. I haven't done much painting because like I'm like not really very good at it. But there's a couple I did like I'm pretty happy with. But one of the first ones I did, let me see if I can find it quick. It's right here. And Alejandro's another one.
Yes, absolutely.
I got so many Alejandro
super talented,
ogre heads.
super talented person.
But I got sucked into doing the ogres. And it sucks because my action figure customs did all these parts and now you can't get them anymore. And I'd really like to do another one.
Yeah.
Because I never really do it. I'm not good with, like, I really can't do eyes because, like, I don't know how some people do it, but
you got to
I
have
can't
a
do
super
eyes to save my
steady,
life.
I guess. I don't know. I've never tried, and I don't think I would do them very well.
So, like, I try to stick with stuff like ogres and orcs because you just paint them yellow. You don't have to do pupils or anything like that. So, like, okay, that works. This is like one of my first.
Oh yeah, you made that?
I got the parts from my action figure customs.
Yeah,
because I really liked the chest piece and the pauldron and like the helmet. I'm like, I wanted to, because I love the gladiator stuff,
yeah.
and I was like, I want to do like a gladiator, orc, and ogre, and I'm like, and I remember last year, I was talking to Jeremy at Legion's Con because I saw the Ogrenaut head. And I saw that because they just shutting down Legion shop, and I'm like, I went to like as soon as they posted, what was it? Mythic Conversations. We were watching the other night.
Yeah.
And he was talking about
last
how they're
Wednesday.
shutting the shop down and they're going, it's getting transferred over to Wolf King. I immediately went to Wolf King. I'm like, bought the Ogrenaut head, and I ended up buying the dwarf head because I have something planned with the dwarf head. I don't know if how I'm gonna do it yet, but I want to do like a little bit like purple in the York head, like the armor, like the Juggernaut. Because that was another favorite one I forgot about with Motu was Ram Man.
Ram Man.
Because he was this big chunky goofball who just rammed his head into stuff. I was like,
yeah,
he's freaking awesome.
He was awesome. I wish his legs moved though. That always bugged me that you couldn't move his legs.
The only thing you could do was they had that little like bounce in him. He had the springs.
Yeah, it had the springs.
But
yeah, that line had some original, kind of cool things like
designs
features
and stuff like that.
designs
Like
and
really
stuff.
different.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the designs looking back, you're like, it's kind of like Merman
But
was kind of like
they had features, like try what's his name? Triclops, which is another one of my favorites.
That's
his head spinned.
Exactly. Triclops was another one that was like, I don't know what it was, but like some of the villains I like more than the actual like heroes.
They just had cool features.
And that's the thing, like when you bought them, you didn't have to like keep them in line. You didn't have to keep them canon. You can just do what you want and be like, oh, I'm going to do what I want with them. And I remember last year, I saw Alejandro Sorio like posting stuff on the Cabal. I'm like, he was doing a lot of ogre heads. I'm like, oh my god, dude! I'm like, I want that freaking head. But then I went on this big kick that he was doing heads like nonstop. I think I bought like, holy crap, like good 6 heads off of him. But like this is one of like my favorite ones because he did like this little like.
That's awesome.
If you look in his mouth, he's got like the drool hanging down.
I love that. Yeah, that's so rad.
I'm like, I love the detail he puts in it. I'm like, holy crap. I mean, and then Eric Miller's another one.
Eric Miller is next level.
I bought the it's funny because I bought the goblin head, the pumpkin off of him because I really wanted him. Like, I need that goblin pumpkin head because I love like the seasonal stuff.
Yeah.
Like when it comes to like Krampus is freaking cool. Marley, all of like the holiday stuff and the seasonal
Yeah.
stuff really gets my attention. But yeah, it's just crazy about like the Eric Miller, Bear Blaze.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's another one I bought. He's got a bunch of stuff like at Legion's Con. I gave him a bunch of. I gave him a whole box. I'm like, whenever you get time, paint it. I'll pay you, whatever. So like I try to buy stuff. I'm like, I'm kind of weird. Like I want like a little bit from everybody.
Yeah.
Matt
Well, it's like,
Stein's another one. I know, and I've known Matt Stein for a long time because Matt Stein was also big in Glyos too.
mm-hmm.
Because he had his own. He did the Spy Monkey Creations where he did. I have a brain fart again. I have some of the figures, Battle Tribes.
Mm-hmm.
Because he would do those, and like again, those were like the same lines. You just pop, swap, and move stuff around. But like I've known Matt a while too, and like he got into Legions, and then he started painting last year, and like the progress he's made, I'm like, holy crap, dude! I'm like, and the amount of people like that just pop stuff out like so quick.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how the hell did you do that? Like,
and they all look amazing.
Me, it takes me like weeks to do something.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Lynn, when it comes to his diorama stuff.
Oh yeah, I love his stuff.
Brian Lynn is just amazing, like the torches, and
Yeah.
I see all the stuff he makes. I'm like, the Charbot I bought from him. I bought like the whole set.
I gotta paint mine. I haven't painted mine yet. I need to do that.
Me too. It's driving me nuts because like I'm like I have a whole bunch of stuff I don't have painted. I'm like, I need to get to this.
Yeah. Me
and
too.
I started doing my own diorama stuff where I had I was building walls, but instead of like doing people carving like the lines, I cut each individual brick out and I'm like gluing them together. I don't know why I make shit. I don't know why I make shit harder on myself. I really don't.
Right, yeah.
But
it probably look good though. Probably looks
but like
good.
that's like the one, the cave one I did for the troll cave.
Mm-hmm.
That one took me forever, but like it took me like 8 months. But like I try to keep things they're not like done because I like to mix and match things together. So like if I have like, I'll do like I did this one like floor, and I use the floor. I use the floor to like, and then I put the trees up and do whatever, and then have it all together. So it's like not all glued together where I can just move stuff around and make it look different. So not every picture looks the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like trees, I bought a couple trees off Terraformer on the IG because he does like this weird foam tree, and then I did end up doing a tree where it's you use a paper towel and you take a glue gun and you freaking just run the glue down and then you end up painting it.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I don't know why I didn't think of that before, but it worked.
Yeah. Some people's creativity is just genius.
I did a couple trees, but the one. Oh, John Davis was another one who did some of my diorama stuff too.
Yeah.
But,
well, we better wrap it up, man. It's 4:15, and my eyes are getting heavy. But
yeah, I didn't realize we were that. Oh my god, it is 4:15. I didn't even realize that.
I've been having a good time, and I appreciate you taking the time. We'll have to do it again.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Like mean, you get sucked into this line, and you just like, there's so many people. Like I can't.
Yeah, it's just fun to talk
tons of names
about.
I didn't even mention that were just
so
amazing.
much. There's so much talent and
like
creativity.
When I got in with Jordan and Van, I think that was like, what was that from? I mean, we got them from the Zolocon, but I remember because I met up with you at ToyCon with Brett.
Yeah.
Amber,
my boy Brett,
Ryan.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I mean, it sucks because I wish I could go to all the shows.
That was fun. Yeah, me too. I wish I lived in that area because I would be broke, but I would go to every show.
Because like I'm so close to shows, but like it sucks because they're down south now. Like the whole summer's like all south shows. Like you got Heroes Con, Joe Fest, and then you got IshCon, and like it's so many great shows. I'm like, it's just like, I think the next show I'm probably gonna hit is like RetroCon.
All I have is
RetroCon.
MuskyCon. MuskyCon's all I have in this
Oh,
area.
that's right. Yeah, that's one I wish I could have made this year because they had a lot of cool stuff this year.
Yeah, I
Looks
wanted
like
to
a good
go.
time.
Didn't make it. I didn't make it, but that's all right. Next year.
Maybe if my kid starts driving,
There you
I'll have
go.
him drive.
There you go. Good
Because it's so hard
thinking.
for me to drive, and especially those long trips. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. Long
But yeah, like
drives.
Legion's Con is going to be great this year, so
I
I'm really
can't
looking
wait.
forward to seeing
I
it.
can't wait. Yeah, it's gonna
I
be a
want to make both days,
blast.
but I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a hotel. So
It's tricky. Yeah, I
I might.
have Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So,
I
yeah, I'll
was
be
really
there.
hoping to get the intern, but I didn't get lucky this year. So I was like,
Keep
I'll try again
trying.
next year.
Try again next year. Try again next year.
Well, I couldn't get my kids to work because I tried signing up with my kids to get him to like
Mm-hmm.
sign up for the lotto too, but like for some reason the Google thing wasn't working right. I was only able to like I had trouble doing it myself, let alone
Yeah.
him. So I was like, but
Yeah.
looking forward to Legion's Con. It's gonna be great seeing
It's
everybody
gonna
and
be
like
amazing. Yeah, I can't wait. It's gonna just be a huge celebration and party and get together and reunion, and it's
yeah,
gonna be
there's
awesome.
so many and more artists like this. Like Matt Stein's gonna
Yes.
be there this year too. Like
Yeah.
there's a
It's gonna
bunch of
be
people that are
awesome.
gonna be there, like newer people. And I'm like, I'm already trying to plan out like in all the exclusives. I'm like, I'm already like, oh, it's gonna
I
hurt.
know. Yep. I know. I know.
But
And
it's gonna be
Necronominus
fun.
is gonna be there too. Necronominus Wave will be there.
Oh yeah,
So
that's. I didn't get
yeah,
that pre-order. I didn't get. I
I
can
didn't
never
either.
get like the money for pre-orders in on time. I'm
I
like,
think I did the no, I did some for All Star 6, but I
so
don't
did
think I
I.
ordered anything. I didn't order much. I think the Skeleton Raiders
But it's hard
was
with
it.
Necro. It's hard because they always do that wave after Legion's Con. I'm like,
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
spent how much at Legion's
yeah,
Con.
I was hobo broke, man. I had no money for
Yeah,
any
I spent way too
pre-ordering.
much at least. I just started buying stuff from people's tables. I'm like, I want that.
I
I
was
want that. I want
crazed.
that.
I was crazed. I had an IKEA bag and I just kept going back to the table. I'm like, I need more gold knights. I need more, I was
The
just
big one
grabbing
for me
stuff,
was
the cosmics.
well, I didn't get a whole. I mean, I didn't go crazy, but like Valiant Knight was one I wanted because that was like, and if they do a surprise like that this year, I'm screwed because I'm gonna be like, because
Yeah, I
that
always thank
surprise was just
Colin.
so crazy.
I always thank Colin. I got there, I think at around noon. I checked in and Colin is like, hey, make sure you pick up a Valiant Knight from the table. And I'm like, really? And I had forgot. So I went to the table and I paid and I'm like, oh shoot, wait, guys, can I get a Valiant Knight? And they grabbed me one and I totally forgot. But that was a surprise.
Yeah,
That was a
that
figure of
surprise
the
got me too. I
show.
was like, the day of, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna need that.
Yeah. So I think I bought 3 and I shipped one to my stepson. So I had 2. And
Yeah,
so whenever I go to a show like ZoloCon or ToyCon,
I try if I see one.
I try to buy a couple. Yeah.
Well, I bought one at ToyCon for someone else last year in December. I was like, I bought one for somebody else that needed one. I'm like, there
Mm-hmm.
you go, don't worry about it.
And all Mythic fans should have one. They're just amazing figures.
I
And they're
mean,
good trade, even
but
if
for
you're
people
not
that
a
missed
night
out,
guy.
like there's a bunch of new ones coming that are going to have the
Yes.
same.
Yeah.
So, like
Same
Jeremy said
body.
it a couple times, like you don't need to stress because
They're coming.
they're coming. So
A lot of them. So,
exactly.
but until then, yeah, you have Valiant Knight, which is an excellent preview of what's
Plus,
to
I
come.
won a Valiant Knight off Purple Gang. That was crazy. I
The
was like, I
Purple
can't believe it.
Gang.
Purple Gang, baby.
This segment of the show is brought to you by Purple Gang and Gaspar
Exactly.
Sausages.
Love those
All right, my
guys.
friend. I got to get some Z's, man.
Yep, I'm gonna try.
I had a
Hopefully, I
great
can get
time.
them.
You can find Mr. Dub here on his Instagram. Let's share a photo. I have a picture of his logo right here. Wait, where'd it go? It is right here.
I might have some shirts coming from Wolf King. Hopefully,
Sweet. That's a
when I get
beautiful
some
logo too, by the way.
money together. I had my friend Mario. He actually helped me with that logo. So
Yeah, it's
no
beautiful.
props
I
to me.
love
My
it.
friend Mario did that shit for me. So
Well, put me down for a T-shirt when you have them made.
hopefully next couple months. Hopefully before Legion's
or
Con.
or a pin
Well,
too. Either one would be cool.
one of them is going to come before Legion's Con because I'm probably going to try and hand some stuff out at Legion's Con. So we'll see. Hopefully.
Yes, that sounds amazing. And I will see you. Hopefully, I'll see you before then. If not, I will run into you at Legion's Con. We'll
Absolutely,
take a
my
minute
friend.
together. We'll hang out for sure.
Exactly.
All right, my friend.
Try to get some sleep.
Yeah. I appreciate you again for taking the time and coming on. Thank you so much. And thank you for the people that are watching. I appreciate you guys, and I will see you next week. See you, Dub.
See ya.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate you. Remember, friends, to always have fun, be curious, share, and enjoy what this line has to offer. Come for the toys, but stay for the friends. Good night, and thank you very much. Purple gang.